Hello and welcome to the first ever episode of Amigo's Game Chat. Okay, my camera was doing something weird. My name is Awesome Jason Sellorn or Jason Sellers, and this is a new podcast, Amigo's Game Chat. If you want to get right into the Zelda tier list, skip to this. Otherwise, I'm just going to talk a little bit about me because it's the first episode. My name's Jason. I had a YouTube channel called Awesome Jason Sellorn, still do. And I also started a channel called Amigo in the Morning, which was like a talk show thing that I never really succeeded at doing. That was named after my dog Amigo, who passed away last January. The date is June 23rd. Yep, it's after midnight. June 23rd, 2023. So he passed away about 5 months ago, and Amigo was the light of my life, man. I love that dog so much, and I still do. I've had a little bit of a dream. I thought of it a while ago, but I've really started to think more about it. It might be unrealistic, but to open a game store, and I'd call it Amigo's Game Room, in honor of that aforementioned Amigo. So this is the first episode of Amigo's Game Chat on Amigo's Game Room, the YouTube channel. And we're just going to talk about video games. Hopefully have guests on in the future. For now, this setup is very temporary. I had to slide my desk out just to film this. The next episode might be on a different angle and a different room, maybe even. Who knows? Let's do a Zelda tier list today, just to start off, because I want to have guests, but I want to do an episode first just to kind of establish myself. I'm going to lower this camera just a little bit. Alright, that should be a little better. I don't have a tripod right now. I don't know where it is. So I'm using a stool on top of my desk, and I had some books on top, but it's a little high, so I'm just going to do it like this. As you can see in my background right now, I got a couple posters, couple maps. There aren't really posters. One is a Skyward Sword map that I got when I got Skyward Sword in December of 2011 for my birthday. And the other is a Skyrim map that comes in the Skyrim PS4 edition. And then I got my wall of consoles. You can see my Switch controllers. I don't know if you could see them, like the NES and the SNES Nintendo Switch Online, as well as my purple Zelda Joy-Cons, my Xbox Series S, which I got for digital and mainly for Game Pass, but I use it for some other stuff too. My Wii U, got for Christmas 2012, and you can kind of see my PS5. Which I spent $700 on and use it the least out of the three consoles. Maybe even less than the Wii U. I don't think I use less than the Wii U. My name is Jason Sellers, like I said, and this is Amigo's Game Chat, the podcast. I'm going to be doing it here on YouTube, also on Spotify. Probably just Amigo's Game Room. I actually haven't set up my account yet. I'm just not realizing. But for now, let's talk about video games. So today's episode, like I said, is going to be a tier list for Zelda. I made this tier list on Illustrator. I didn't put it on Tier Maker, and I also changed the colors up a little bit, so it goes blue is the best, green's second best, and then red's actually the worst. So I just think that makes more sense. And you can see I created these little logos. You can't really, or these little squares, you can't really see the words too well, but that doesn't matter because this is an audio podcast, so I'm going to have to narrate what I'm doing anyways. Yay. Alright, let's hope this works. This is a weird setup. I got my computer, I got my camera, I got my iPad recording audio via my headphones. This is big. Here we go. I got to make sure my iPad's not too far away so it doesn't get to the cable of the headphones doesn't get tugged on and taken out. So let's start. Welcome to those who skipped ahead. Welcome to the tier list. I have played most of these games. I think there's about three I haven't played at all, and a couple I've played very little. I have every one except for Four Swords because Nintendo refuses to release that game. The Oracle games are the games I've played the least, which, I mean, I've probably opened the opening cutscene and decided I don't want to play this right now. I bought those games on my 2DS via the eShop, as well as Link's Awakening, which I did play a little bit, but I also played it on the Switch and beat it. Which, spoiler alert for a little later in this video, is a good game. I also got my Zelda poster. And my two amiibo, my Daruk and Mifa amiibo, as well as my one pop figure, which is Vision from WandaVision. I love WandaVision. Anyways, enough of a tangent. Let's get to the first game, The Legend of Zelda for the Nintendo Entertainment System, released in North America in 1987. Hot take here. It's not a good game. It's a good game for its time, obviously, but it is difficult. And I know you're supposed to, adventure and discover. I don't got time for that. And discover and adventure and talk with your friends. I don't have friends, so how am I supposed to play this game? I've played a little bit. I had to look up some stuff. I got to maybe the 4th or 5th level. It's the farthest I've ever gotten in it. I have a few different versions of this game. I had it on the Wii Virtual Console. I had it on the Wii U Virtual Console. I have it via Nintendo Switch Online. I had it versus the Collector's Edition on the GameCube. But overall, just not a great game. It's not a great Zelda game. Honestly, the worst Zelda game I prefer over a lot of games. So I'm going to put The Legend of Zelda and make sure it snaps up here in D tier. And I'm going to rank these in order just for now. I want to really go in depth in each Zelda game, which I haven't done in my life, and I want to do a definitive ranking. I wanted to, like, ever since I started the first idea of YouTube, I've thought, oh, I want to rank all the Zelda games. I'm not doing that officially here, but I am kind of doing it here. So this camera's a little tilted, but we're just going to deal with it. All right, The Adventure of Link. If I thought The Legend of Zelda was bad, honestly, The Adventure of Link might be a little easier for me to just pick up and play for the first time, but it's just too different to be better than Legend of Zelda, and I don't like doing things off nostalgia and legacy. I just want to go off what a good game it is, but I gotta give at least a little props to The Legend of Zelda, so Adventure of Link's going in, for now, last place. 9th or 20th place. There's 20 games now. Tears of the Kingdom, I think, might be the last Zelda game. I almost hope it is, because, I mean, I love Zelda. It's by far my favorite video game franchise, by far my favorite media franchise. But I don't know. It's just I can't take them revealing another game in a year and a half or 2 years and then releasing it in 8 years. I want them to take a break, maybe release a 2D Zelda game, maybe re-release some games, preferably that, and then, release another game, another 3D big game in 6 or 7 years, but don't reveal it till like 5 years. So now we have A Link to the Past. This is going to be the hottest take I ever had, and it's going to, get the angry mob after me. A Link to the Past is almost as hard as the original. That's not true. A Link to the Past is not easy, and I'll put it that way. And I am not the best video game player. I like to play them, playing them more, but I also don't play them enough to get very good at them. And when I played A Link to the Past via the Wii U, I want to say that was like 3 years ago now. I think it was during the pandemic, probably early pandemic. Probably before I had Nintendo Switch Online, which I haven't had for that long. I really struggled with A Link to the Past, and I didn't beat it. I got to... what's her name? I am assuming it's a her. I don't know why I'm assuming it's a her. The Moth Skullwoods boss that I couldn't beat. And the other thing is, I used save states. And anybody who played that game and beat that game on the original SNES without save states is a legend of Zelda. Legend, because this is a hard game, and there's so much backtracking that I'm just not willing to do. So for now, A Link to the Past, I could almost put it in haven't played enough, but I got pretty far. So I'm going to put it in C tier for now. I don't know how that's... okay, I'm going to line it like that. A Link to the Past in C tier, and I might have to disable comments. So right now we have A Link to the Past for the SNES, C tier, A Legend of Zelda, D tier, followed by Adventure of Link, D tier. I have A Link to the Past, again, in a lot of different ways. I have it on SNES Online. I haven't played it on SNES Online. Had it on a Wii Virtual Console, Wii U Virtual Console's way I played it the most. I think that's it. So 3 ways, but still. Link's Awakening, the stepchild to A Link to the Past, a simple, small game that doesn't really make a lot of sense. It's a lot better. I love Link's Awakening, both the Switch version and the Game Boy Color version. Honestly, if it wasn't for the Switch version, the Game Boy Color version would be a lot easier to get through. It's just the sword, since on the original Game Boy, and then the DX versions on the Game Boy Advance, the sword and the shield are items. And so are the Pegasus boots. Is that what they're called? And the Rock's Feather. Or if they use the Rock's Cape. I don't know. They use a feather in that game, right? It's so hard to play, and I'm sure the Oracle games are the same way. But story-wise, fun-wise, story-wise it's alright, but fun-wise, charm-wise, charm is a big word I should use there, charm-wise, and just overall gameplay, it's a great game, honestly. I got the Switch version for my birthday when I turned 17, and it was a few months after it came out. And I beat it in a couple weeks. Didn't play it too much at first, and then started playing it a lot. And me and my friend beat it on almost just about midnight at the beginning of the new decade, 2020, on New Year's Eve. 2020 was not a good year. Alright, so we're going to be putting Link's Awakening up here at A tier. It's tough. We'll see what else we put at A tier. Maybe I'll change it to B tier, but Link's Awakening is a great game. And it's less so that it's an A tier game, and more so that I can't put it just one tier above A Link to the Past because I like it so much better. And yes, I am bad at video games. Alright, next we got Ocarina of Time. This is tough for me, because for a long time, I've been on the boat. Ocarina of Time's overrated. You're nostalgia blinded. Ocarina of Time is the worst 3D Zelda game, which isn't true. I'll get to that in a few seconds here, if you know what I mean. But Ocarina of Time, I think I'm gonna have to put... I don't know, because when I do replay it, all those feelings kind of fade. I'm more so, this is good, and this is Zelda. This is what I think of when I think of Zelda. I think of a few small dungeons, get the Master Sword, a few more big dungeons, Ganon, boom. And this is that game. This is Zelda when I think of Zelda. It's hard to say which version is the best to play on, not that this really matters. I should have said this before. All versions are going to be considered. The 3D version, I think, is better. Definitely got some quality of life improvements. But at the same time, it's only on the 3DS. So, I think my preferred way to play it right now is the N64 Nintendo Switch Online. And I really hope they make an HD version, which doesn't change too much, like Majora's Mask 3D did. It's really tough whether this game's better than Link's Awakening for me, honestly. I love Link's Awakening. It has more charm than Ocarina of Time. But Ocarina of Time's been with me. It's the second Zelda game I ever played. When I first started playing Zelda games, I cheated. I watched video walkthroughs because I was 5, and I thought I was really smart. And I hate myself for doing that because I will never be able to experience those first few Zelda games for the first time, ever. And now that I play them, when I play them, I can breeze through them. Not so much Ocarina of Time. Once I get to the Water and Shadow Temple, I really start to struggle. Ocarina of Time 3D is the only Zelda game I've ever completed with no deaths. I did that in 3 days in 8th grade, or 10th grade. It's definitely going to be in the A tier, but whether above Link's Awakening or not is tough. I think if you consider all the versions, the Ocarina of Time original version's better than Link's Awakening's original version. So for now, we'll put Ocarina of Time as the best Zelda game on the list. It joins Link's Awakening at A tier, but just above it. So right now we have Ocarina of Time in A tier, Link's Awakening in B tier. No, Ocarina of Time in A tier, Link's Awakening below it, but also in A tier. A Link to the Past in C tier, Legend of Zelda and Adventure Link in D tier. Then we get to Majora's Mask. I'm sorry. As much as I love Zelda, as much as I love Peanut Butter Gamer, and this is his favorite video game of all time, I am putting Majora's Mask in the haven't played enough tier, which is below T tier for those who aren't watching. I just haven't gotten into Majora's Mask. The farthest I've ever gotten was Snow Peak, and I didn't get to the temple. And that was years ago. I tried playing it a little bit recently on Nintendo Switch Online, kind of stopped for a little bit, and then just never picked it back up. Majora's Mask, the story and the themes are really interesting, but I just can't put it high enough because I haven't played it enough. It kind of has that failing of Link's Awakening or Adventure of Link that it's too different, but not in quite as drastic ways. Story and mechanic-wise, it's different, but Adventure of Link's like a 2D platformer, and I love 2D platformers. So I was arguing with a friend about this yesterday. I love 2D platformers, but Adventure of Link's not good. We have Oracle of Ages and Seasons. When people rank these, I hate when they put them in the same spot. I'll be like, oh, this is the best Zelda games. And then I see number 19 on the bottom. I'm like, there's 20 Zelda games. There's 20 Zelda games. They must not include one of the 4 Swords games. And then it just turns out the Oracle games are together. That being said, I'm going to put the Oracle games together in the have not played them enough. I already said this earlier in the podcast, so this isn't too much of a surprise. I haven't played them at all, let alone enough. I'm a little scared because they're going to be too complicated, which is really stupid because they're Game Boy Color games from the year 2000. However, I'm interested in playing them. Part of me is scared because I also want to wait till a remake, because I really want them to remake these games in the style of the Link's Awakening remake. Probably almost more than I want them to remake some of the 3D games, just because I've never played these. But for now, the Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons go in the haven't played enough, haven't played at all. Next, we have Four Swords. I already said this is the one game I don't have, so that's going in the haven't played enough or haven't played at all tier. That was bad. Need this to stamp right in line. Four Swords, haven't played at all. I really wish I had a DS in 2011, because I could have gotten it for a limited time on the DSi shop. But for now, it has haven't played. Seems like forever it'll be haven't played, unless I get a friend who has the game, and we have a Game Boy Advances. I have a Game Boy Advance. I don't know anybody who has a Game Boy Advance. And we play the game together. Next up, we have The Wind Waker. Oh my god. If you saw my top 20 Nintendo games on my channel, Awesome Jason Cell 1, you know this is the game that literally, I played video games before this game. This game made me love video games, and it made me love Zelda. It's the first Zelda I ever played. Watched my brother play it for a little bit. I used the HD case as the background down here. Anyways, Wind Waker is a great game, but I cheated, so it's hard to say whether I would like it the first time around. But I'm sure I would, because the charm's a big thing with some of these games. And the graphics are beautiful. Cell shaded has just been, what a revelation. I can't believe there are people who said this looks bad. I could see they say it looks childish, but it looks good, and the HD version just looks that much better. The sailing can get a little annoying, but if we're taking all versions into account, the swift sail is pretty great. You can warp once you get past the Tower of the Gods and get the bow and arrow. So The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker is definitely an S tier game. So we have our first game in S tier. It is The Wind Waker, above the A tier games Ocarina of Time and Link's Awakening. We have 4 games in the haven't played enough tier. That would be Majora's Mask, Oracle of Ages, Oracle of Seasons, and Four Swords. For the rest of the games, never mind what I was about to say, because the next one up is Four Swords Adventures. Want to know how spoiled I was? Listen to my experience with Four Swords Adventures. I wanted Zelda, Four Swords, for Christmas one year. I got the collector's edition instead. Objectively a better game. Although the emulation isn't great. But objectively a better game. I didn't get Four Swords. I was throwing a fit. The next morning, Four Swords Adventures is under the tree. Like, hey, just take it. Just shut up. In hindsight, I'm really glad I got both these games. Four Swords Adventures I just never played that much because it wasn't what I expected. And I was a little kid who couldn't figure it out. And there weren't as many video walkthroughs available because it was Four Swords. And not only was I wrong in wanting Four Swords Adventures over this other collector's edition, but if I had gotten what I really wanted, which was Four Swords, I wouldn't have been able to play it. But I got Four Swords Adventures, was able to play it, just never got really that into it. So Four Swords Adventures is going in the haven't played enough tier. Next we have The Legend of Zelda: The Minish Cap, another charming game. We got Toon Link in 2D, which at this point is the third game that we've had that on this list, so I don't know why I didn't say it before. But the Minish Cap I got for the Game Boy Advance shortly after my brother's friend gave me his Game Boy Advance. Still have it, it's in here somewhere. And I got pretty far. I remember there was one moment where there's like a statue and I had to trade a kinstone with it and I just couldn't figure it out. And a big part of that was because my L button was broken, and it had been broken ever since I got the Game Boy Advance. I looked up some tutorial on how to fix it. It had like a cotton swab and a Q-tip and some rubbing alcohol or something, and it actually worked. And the L button worked after that. I think it still does. And so I got past that part. I never finished the game. When I played it, though, it was good from what I remember, because it's been a while, and I want to replay it again. But like I haven't said with these, but I've been meaning to say, I want to play all these games and enjoy them and actually finish them. But I want to do them in a certain order. I'm currently playing Tears of the Kingdom right now. Haven't gotten as far as a lot of people have because I just haven't played it that much yet. But the Minish Cap, for now, from what I can remember, it's a good game, but a lot of this is going to have to go on what I've heard. And I've heard it's a good game. And in hindsight, if I had to choose between that and A Link to the Past, I would definitely choose the Minish Cap. So for now, let's put it in the B tier. Twilight Princess. For a long time, my favorite Zelda game. Later, I think I realized I like Wind Waker more, just because Twilight Princess is a little, especially at the beginning, drags on quite a bit, and even replaying it is really hard to get into. The tutorial and the Wolf Link segments and the tutorial Wolf Link segments are just too long. They even shortened it in HD version. It's still too long. Twilight Princess and the Temple of Twilight it's easier than I remembered, but this is another game I cheated on. And once I realized I shouldn't cheat at Zelda games, I said, okay, the one time I'm going to cheat is during the Master Sword quest, where you got to go through the squares and move the statues. And I played it a few years ago during the beginning of the pandemic. My friend played it on the Wii version. Imagine, I played it on the Wii U HD, like a boss. And I didn't cheat at that part, but the temples are great. I like the dark theme. I liked it a lot more when I was like 10 because I wanted to be gritty and different. But overall, I think the art style is worse than the Wind Waker. The dungeons are good, except the in-between section, there isn't much use of the items, which I know is a very old complaint at this point. But for now, we're going to put Twilight Princess in S tier, below the Wind Waker. It has some great moments, like some fantastic moments. When I think of the best Zelda moments and best Zelda cutscenes, I think of the scene on Elden Bridge after you beat the Bokoblin King, or whatever his name is. The Bulbasaur King, and the guy who rides him, I don't know, for the first time on Elden Bridge. It's a fantastic moment, and I almost get emotional when I play it. Every time. The Legend of Zelda Phantom Hourglass for the DS. I see a lot of people lump these two DS games very low, and I can't necessarily blame them. I have a little bit of nostalgia for them, one more than the other. Phantom Hourglass, I haven't gotten too far. I think I've gotten about halfway. I don't know if I could put it above A Link to the Past, honestly. It's repetitive, and it doesn't have. I don't remember it having as much backtracking, but it's like if Wind Waker was a lot more restricted and was on the DS and had weird controls. And overall, we're just going to put it in C tier. I don't really have much to say about this game. However, Spirit Tracks, I honestly think is a better game in a lot of ways. The travel is, I guess, objectively worse because it's the same, where you have to draw the path, but you're restricted to the train tracks. But other than that, this game's theme and Zelda alongside you as a ghost and getting in the Phantom and not having to redo every level on the Temple of the Ocean King. Instead, you just go to the next level, which still is kind of lame for the Tower of Spirits or whatever it's called. But we're going to put it in B tier. We're actually going to put it above the Minish Cap, which is kind of surprising now that I think about it. Not surprising to me, but I'm sure some people are surprised. Skyward Sword. What a divisive game. I like this game. It was the first Zelda game that was released after I became a big Zelda fan, which I'm sure Spirit Tracks was released, but I didn't have a DS, and I didn't know about it. So when Skyward Sword came out, I was really anticipating it. Didn't get it day one. Got it at my birthday, which was like a month later, which makes sense. I was a 9-year-old with no money, but it's hard to replay and finish. Part of it's because I'm so scared of the imprisoned battle, which is probably the worst part of the game, is the imprisoned battle 3 times. I struggled so much on the second and third phases. Actually, the second phase I struggled more in the third phase of the imprisoned. But Skyward Sword, again, theme-wise, is very good. Very linear, though. And at the time, I probably preferred that. But now that I've gotten more bold and a little better, I kind of wish it was a little more open, especially the sky. Sky was disappointing. The art style's, I'd say, better than Twilight Princess. It's a little watercolory. Some people call it a mix between the Wind Waker and Twilight Princess. But for now, I'm going to put Skyward Sword in A tier. And I think I gotta put it below A Link's Awakening. I don't mind the motion controls that much. In fact, I I got my first Zelda game a little bit before, maybe like a year or so before we got our Wii, and I thought, oh my god, I could use this as a sword in a Zelda game. And you could in Twilight Princess, but it wasn't sensitive to the actual motions. But I really wanted what Skyward Sword promised, and in hindsight, it was hard kind of to control, but I don't mind it too much. Every Zelda game has some kind of gimmick, right? Kind of. This is definitely the most gimmicky of all the gimmicks. But for now, Skyward Sword is an A tier game. I don't think Skyward Sword's close enough to Spirit Tracks to put it in B tier, so I think A tier for now is okay. The Legend of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds, a Link Between Worlds, a game I have never beaten, but I love when I play. It's tough. Ocarina of Time is a great game, and A Link Between Worlds either can go right below it or right above it. But A Link Between Worlds, if I beat it, I'd probably definitely prefer it over Ocarina of Time. I played it recently, probably about a year and a half ago or so, and I got stuck on some part that I couldn't find any clues to get to the next part. And that seems to be a theme here. I seem to just be terrible at Zelda games. What am I even doing? But A Link Between Worlds, it's like A Link to the Past, but better in every single way. I think I'm going to put it above Ocarina of Time. This game is so fun, and I get so into it when I do play it, that I'm going to put it... Oh my god, that's why I'm not pressing Shift and pressing Control or whatever, or Option. I'm going to put it above Ocarina of Time in A tier. So with 3 games left, let's recap. In S tier, we have the Wind Waker, Twilight Princess. I have an SS tier for those who have been listening. I have an SS tier. I probably should have said that because I forgot that some people aren't watching. And then S tier. SS tier has nothing. S tier has the Wind Waker and Twilight Princess. A tier has Link Between Worlds, Ocarina of Time, Link's Awakening, and Skyward Sword. B tier has Spirit Tracks and Minish Cap. C tier has Link to the Past, Phantom Hourglass. D tier has The Legend of Zelda and the Adventure of Link. And Haven't Played Enough has Majora's Mask, Oracle of Ages, Oracle of Seasons, Four Swords, and Four Swords Adventures. We got 3 games left. And I probably should have rated to recap because the Triforce Heroes is going and I haven't played enough. And the other 2 games are a lot bigger and a lot different than Triforce Heroes. But Triforce Heroes, I want to play single player because I think all Zelda games should be enjoyed single player. Maybe once I beat it single player, if that ever happens, I'll play it with some friends. But Triforce Heroes, I think, is better than the Four Swords games, the little I've played it. I don't think I've gotten too far in it, but clearly not far enough because I'm putting it in the haven't played enough tier. So we have 2 games left. Breath of the Wild is probably my favorite game of all time. If you watch my video, Top 20 Nintendo Games, you'll see I put Breath of the Wild number 1. And that's because I've never anticipated a game more until Tears of the Kingdom, but I was so excited for Breath of the Wild. And the lead up was like, it was so unknown. 2015, we were like, New Zelda? 2016, we were like, New Zelda? Late 2016, we were like, oh, Breath of the Wild, that's a weird name. At least I was like that. 2017, I was like, oh, Breath of the Wild's coming out. 2017. That first weekend in March was, God, I'm a little congested, so I keep kind of pausing here. I've been sick for the last couple days, and I'm wanting to do this, but I have waited because I'm feeling a little better tonight. But Breath of the Wild, just that first time playing it was so amazing, and I've touched on this before, and I wish I could play it for the first time again. And I played it before Tears of the Kingdom came out, and I had waited a while, so it's the closest I can ever get to playing it for the first time ever again. Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild is an amazing game. I don't care about the weapons breaking. It's fine mechanic. At first I might have been a little weird because I was like, Zelda should have, the same item the whole game and stuff, but Breath of the Wild is an S tier game above Wind Waker and above Twilight Princess. Those were my favorite games. Twilight Princess was my favorite game, and then I realized Wind Waker was better, and then Breath of the Wild came out. Then we have The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. Wow. Breath of the Wild is an S tier game. Tears of the Kingdom, I don't like as much as Breath of the Wild, I don't think. If I had to choose my favorite game of all time, I don't know if I'd choose Tears of the Kingdom. It's not an S tier game. It is, however, an SS tier game because It's like Breath of the Wild on steroids. Oh my god, this game's amazing. And I only say it probably isn't my favorite yet because I haven't gotten too far in it. I don't have as much of a connection as I do. In terms of best games of all time, if I thought Breath of the Wild was the best game of all time, this game clears it. Tears of the Kingdom is amazing, and I'm only 35 hours in or so, which to non-gamers feels like that's a lot of time you spent on this game. But I got friends who put over 100 hours in, and I got a friend who has put over 100 hours in. And I can't wait to keep playing this game. I'm kind of nervous to keep going through it just because I'm scared it's not going to live up, but I know it will. But also because I just don't want to finish it. Tears of the Kingdom is insane, and I don't have much to say about it because I haven't gotten too far in it, but it is SS tier. So, to recap this video and podcast, the double S tier, we have The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, and these are in order from best to worst. S tier, we have Breath of the Wild, The Wind Waker, and Twilight Princess. A tier, we have A Link Between Worlds, Ocarina of Time, Link's Awakening, and Skyward Sword. And B tier, we have Spirit Tracks, The Minish Cap. In C tier, we have A Link to the Past, Phantom Hourglass. In D tier, we have The Legend of Zelda and The Adventure of Link. And in the Haven't Played Enough tier, we have Majora's Mask, Oracle of Ages, Oracle of Seasons, and Four Swords. Four Swords Adventures and the Triforce Heroes. I don't know why I said and Four Swords like it was the last game. I'm running out of breath because it's 80 degrees at night. We've had air quality alerts. I'm sick. I'm unhealthy. And I can't speak that long without running out of breath right now, which is probably not a good sign. So there you have it, my Legend of Zelda tier list. Comment yours below or make your own on Tier Maker. I'm not going to put this on Tier Maker. No, this is my thing. And stay tuned for more episodes of Amigo's Game Chat, the new podcast. I really recommend you watch it on video just because I have some graphics here. But I'm going to put it on Spotify and stuff for podcasting because I don't think there's that many gaming podcasts that I can find on Spotify right now. I'm sure there are. There has to be. But, I mean, everybody has a podcast nowadays. But, here we go. That's my tier list. I don't know why I said here we go like it was the beginning of the video. But, I need to finish this video. You can follow me on Instagram at @1. Follow me on Twitter at @1 for more gaming stuff and some stuff about sports. Go Twins, go Vikings. And some stuff about dogs. I love dogs. I named this whole thing after my old dogs. So, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Bye.